the entire platoon froze. Boots scraped against gravel. A cold wind cut across the SEALs' training yard. And all anyone could hear were the words that stopped time itself. "Stop now," the SEALs shouted, pointing at the recruit who had clenched his fist, ready to punch the new woman who'd just arrived. No one knew then that the moment would change all of their lives. Especially hers. And definitely his. The sun had barely cracked the horizon when recruit Daniel Cross arrived on the training deck with the rest of BUD/S Class 409. Everyone was exhausted. Sand stuck to their faces. Their uniforms were soaked from yet another night of brutal surf torture. They were already stretched thin, physically weak, mentally wrung out, emotionally frayed. But nobody talked about that. This was Navy SEAL training. Your pain belonged to you and you alone. Daniel wasn't the angry type. At least, that's what he'd always told himself. But the last 12 hours had cracked something in him. He felt like a tight wire pulled too far, ready to snap at the slightest tug. That tug came unexpectedly. When the Master Chief called everyone to formation, the chatter died instantly. A figure stepped forward beside him, slender, strong, and unmistakably new. A woman. The first woman to ever attempt to join their class. Most of the recruits stared. Some whispered. A few looked away, knowing better than to question things openly. But Daniel, already exhausted, already struggling, already feeling like he was drowning in expectations, took her arrival personally, though he didn't know why. Her name was Elena Marin, and she didn't flinch beneath the weight of 100 judging eyes. Her stance was firm. Her shoulders squared. Her gaze steady and piercing. The Master Chief's voice cut through the tension like a blade. "This is Recruit Marin. She scored top 5 on the entry test. She's your teammate now. Treat her as such." Some nodded. Most didn't. And Daniel felt something twist inside him, not hatred, not disrespect, just fear. Fear that if someone like her could make it, maybe he didn't belong here. Maybe everything he'd fought for was crumbling. The morning grind began immediately. They ran drills, crawled through sand, hauled rubber boats overhead. Elena matched every step, every grunt, every drop of sweat. She was good. Too good. So when she accidentally bumped Daniel during a gear formation, just a small shoulder tap, barely anything, something inside him detonated. He spun around. His fist clenched. His breath ragged. "You watching where you're going?" he snapped. Her expression didn't change. "You're tired. We all are. Let's keep moving." It was simple. Calm. Reasonable. But Daniel's ego, cracked under pressure, couldn't swallow it. "You don't talk to me like." He stepped forward. She didn't retreat. And that's when his fist rose, half thought, half instinct, all emotion. Before he even realized it, SEAL instructors sprinted toward them, boots slamming the deck. "Stop now." The shout echoed like thunder. Hands gripped his arms. Another instructor stepped between him and Elena. Daniel felt himself ripped back into reality as if woken from a nightmare. Elena didn't flinch. Didn't move. Didn't even blink. Her voice was steady. "I'm not your enemy." Daniel couldn't answer. Shame locked his throat tight. The instructors dragged him aside as the rest of the recruits stared, silent and stunned. In that single explosive moment, everything changed. Especially for Daniel and Elena. Daniel sat on the cold concrete outside the training bay, the weight of his actions crushing him harder than any sandbag they'd carried. His hands trembled, not from fear of the instructors, but from what he'd nearly done. He'd almost hit another recruit. He'd almost hit someone who hadn't done a thing wrong. And worse, he'd forgotten the one rule drilled into them from day one. Your team is your lifeline. Without trust, you're dead. The Master Chief approached with slow, controlled steps. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. "Cross," he said, voice low. "You cracked. Daniel swallowed. Yes, sir. You know what that means? Daniel nodded. I can be dropped. You could be, the Master Chief agreed. But dropping you won't teach you a damn thing. Fixing what broke in you, that's the real test. Daniel looked up, confused. The Master Chief glanced toward the training yard where Elena was silently running laps, alone. You need to understand something, he continued. Everyone here is fighting ghosts. Some hide it better than others. You reached your breaking point today, but that doesn't mean you're done. A pause. A long one. But you owe her an apology. A real one. Daniel nodded, throat tight. The next morning came colder and harsher. When the instructors ordered the recruits into the surf, Daniel forced himself to approach Elena. The ocean water soaked both of them to the bone, waves crashing at their knees. Elena, he said quietly. She didn't look at him. About yesterday. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. She cut him off. You're not sorry you almost hit me, she said, her tone even. You're sorry you lost control. He blinked. She wasn't wrong. Elena finally turned to him, and in her eyes Daniel saw something unexpected, understanding. You want to stay here? She asked. Yes, he whispered. Then you fight smarter. Not against me, but with me. Daniel stared, stunned by her calm strength. By her willingness to stand beside him even after what happened. It humbled him in a way he didn't expect. The instructors blew their whistles, time to return to drills. They ran. They crawled. They trained side by side. And Daniel began to notice things he'd missed before. Elena never complained, not once. She pushed through pain with fierce determination. She encouraged the recruits who fell behind. She offered her canteen to the ones who forgot theirs. She lifted the corner of the boat when someone's arms gave out. She wasn't there to prove she was better than them. She was there to prove they could all be better together. Slowly, silently, she was becoming the heart of the team. By the end of the day, something had shifted between them, not friendship, not trust, not yet. But the beginning. A spark. A realization. Maybe strength wasn't just about muscle and grit. Maybe strength was about choosing control over ego. Maybe strength was the courage to rebuild after nearly destroying something important. Daniel wouldn't forget it. And Elena. She had only just begun to change the entire class.